a glorious day at Wellness 101 with your integrative wellness and life coach, Dr. Adrienne Pinkney. Hi everyone, it is me, Dr. Adrienne Pinkney, your favorite Be Well coach. I have not seen you all in a while. I have been meaning to do a video and I have been so busy, which is great. That I haven't had the opportunity to do it, but I am fixing that today. I just finished working with the Girl Scouts. Let me fix this camera a little bit. I had an amazing time working with these young ladies today about self-love, and I realized that I have been wanting to share a word with you all for a while, and it is about trauma. I know that I usually start with a quote, but I haven't had time to even look for a quote, so today we're going to do things a little differently. Let's get to it. So we are going to talk about the 5 trauma responses. And when I mean trauma, I mean dealing with dysfunctional people, dysfunctional situations, and how we respond. So the difference between a normal response and a trauma response is that the trauma response is unconscious. The trauma response is what we do when we're triggered, when we are not mindful, when we are not taking a breath, when we are not slowing down and having a chance to make our best decision. So there are 5 trauma responses that we are going to discuss today. They are fight, flight, freeze, FAWN, and fix. So let's just start with the fighter. So the fighter is a person. Let's say if you're dealing with a dysfunctional person, maybe this person is a name caller, or there's someone who brings up shameful family secrets at the table, or there's someone who, just is messy and keeps stuff going. What a fighter does is they respond to that person in kind. They think that their most powerful thing is to call them out or to go there with them. Oh, you coming for me? I'm going to come back for you. So the fighter is very much controlled by the dysfunctional person's behavior because they find themselves usually acting out of their own character or maybe within their own character, fighting to be heard, fighting to call them out, fighting to protect themselves from someone who is inherently dysfunctional. So if you are a fighter, you are probably real mad. If you're a fighter, you ready. If you a fighter, you one of those who's like, oh, you come for me? Don't come for me unless I send for you. One of those. But fighting is actually a trauma response. And the sad thing about fighting, one thing I learned working with children is that, most of the times when kids fight, they cry right after. Adults do that too, because having to be in a place that is that angry and that negative, and when you feel like you got to protect yourself that hard and fight that hard, it actually doesn't feel good. So if you recognize that you have a dysfunctional person in your life, if you recognize that your mama is always bringing up your stuff or won't let you change or whatever, and you find yourself in a situation where you are going there with her, you are traumatized, and that is your trauma response. You have to be very aware of that in relationships, especially in relationships with dysfunctional people. Because the sad thing is it's going to make you look like you crazy too, girl. All right. So the next trauma response, people who freeze. Freezers, in the presence of a very dysfunctional person. Freezers are the people who sit there and act like it's not happening. Maybe they're the people who tell themselves that it's not that bad. I actually dated someone who had what I think was a very narcissistic mother. And she was mean and ugly and just not nice. And when I brought that to his attention, that she was passive aggressive and that she was coming for him and she was coming for me, he said things like, Adrienne, that's just how she is. I look at him, I said, did you hear what she just said? Did you hear that? And he said, oh, don't pay that no attention. Freezers are the people who sit in the presence of craziness, dysfunction, and put their head in the sand. They think, if I just sit here while they acting crazy, then it's just not that bad. It really don't have nothing to do with me. It really doesn't affect me. Freezers are people who struggle with a lot of anxiety. Freezers are people, and the interesting thing about when you turn off your mind to not see something that's right in front of you, that doesn't just happen in one area of your life. Freezers are are that in all areas of their lives. So they just don't see what's happening. If you're in a relationship with a freezer, it's probably very frustrating. Many of them drink heavily. They are people who suppress, where that fighter is coming right back out. That freezer is taking that same energy and swallowing it and keep eating chicken. So freezing is a very unhealthy trauma response as well, and usually very unconscious. Remember, all of these trauma responses are our responses unconsciously. Now, some of these are actually healthy responses to make, but if you make them consciously, they're good for you. If this is just your natural state and you're just like, I don't know why I just sit there when my dad berates me. I don't know why I let my boss talk to me like that. I don't know why I let my spouse do that. I guess it's just not that bad. Ha ha ha. I've seen some people in relationship with their spouses. They're so frozen. I'm like, you don't hear how they talking to you. And they don't. They don't hear it. They're frozen. Okay, trauma response, freeze. So we got 2. Let's do the third. The next is we got, let's do fawners. Former me. Fawners are codependent. Former me. So in the presence of a dysfunctional person, what a fawner does, instead of going further away, they actually go closer. They say, oh my goodness, I see that this kid on the playground is a bully. I can tell they're really mean. They beat everybody up. So maybe, just maybe, I'll keep myself safe by going to be their friend. Fawners actually go closer to dysfunctional people. They are under the illusion that if I get closer, then I can keep myself safe from their violence, their manipulation, their name calling, whatever. If I can please them, if I can become more complicit to what they actually want, then somehow I can keep myself safe. Sad thing about fawners is they're actually the most controlled of all because they don't think about themselves, their own needs, their own thoughts. They are so tuned in to that dysfunctional person and that dysfunctional person's behavior. They are predicting it. They are trying to get ahead of them so that they can not be subjected to the associated abuse that's going to come no matter what. Because if somebody crazy, they crazy. And they're going to do what they're going to do. So yeah, fawners, they partner with dysfunctional people. And those who are fawners usually have a lot of dysfunctional people in their lives because that will be their skill set. Their skill set is fixing. Their skill set is predicting what other people need. Their skill set is fawners are actually a little manipulative. They wouldn't consciously think that they were manipulative, but they have tried to figure out how to manipulate a situation to benefit them. So those are fawners. All right. So the next are flight. All right. People who run. The runner. I call the runners busybodies. I actually went out on a date with somebody who gave me it's hard being a life coach and dating. Oh my God, y'all. It's hard because I hear people differently. Ugh. Anyway, we're not going to talk about my personal life. It's not even a problem. It's my personal life. So I actually went on a date with this guy one time. And while we were sitting there, he was telling me about his father. And he was very much like my dad wasn't a really good man. And, his energy when he talked about his dad, you could tell was a lot of hurt and heartbreak. And he told me, my dad was a verbal abuser towards my mom. I used to have to stand up for my mom a lot. And one time when I stood up for my mom, he pulled out a gun on me, right? So I'm thinking, okay, your daddy's a complete narcissist. Your father's not well. So you have grown up with an unwell man. This is where my mind is going as a coach. But he's just talking to me, telling me all this stuff. And he's like, and I decided that day I would never be anything like him. I'm like nothing like my dad. So I'm out here at work. I have my own business. I'm about doing well. I'm I wanted to do this with my life. I wanted to be a rapper or be something creative, but I didn't do that. And now I do this type of work and blah, 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 blah. And so I'm thinking, oh, okay. Like, okay, you're not your daddy. I see that. And so I shouldn't have done this. This is a little bit of a life coach move. I shouldn't have done it. But I said, well, you know your daddy makes all your decisions in your life. He said, what do you mean? I said, like, everything you talk about is about not being like your father. Like, everything you do is about running away from being your father. Do you know who you want to be? Like, separate and, like, not even thinking about him. Just you. Like, what do you want to do? You know? And he's like, I never thought about it like that. Because he hadn't. But yeah, so that's flight. Oftentimes when we're in flight from really dysfunctional people, we think that we are in control, but we are actually being moved by them. They actually make our decisions for us. Our desire to be nothing like them keeps us running from something instead of making a conscious choice about what we actually want and who we actually want to be. Those who are in flight are real busy. Flight folks are busybodies, and they're very highly accomplished. Many of them are. They are constantly in movement. I saw someone one time at a wedding, and she was marrying somebody who didn't talk to her nicely, and just right before their wedding, he just talked to her real ugly in front of everybody. That's what the hell he does. Okay, that's what you want. So, yeah, so, you know, he said something ugly, and me and the other ladies kind of looking at each other like, oh, you know. One of them was real bold. She was like, he wouldn't be talking to me like that. I was like, oh, Lord, here we go. So she made her little comment, and the woman who was being disrespected just got up and started moving around. She got up and started picking up people's plates. She got up and just stepped. She's a flight. If I keep moving, maybe I won't hear it. I just go back to work. I'll just work later. I'll just, you know, oftentimes, flight people, if they're in relationships with dysfunctional people, they don't come home. They like to work late. They stay busy. They keep their calendar full so they don't have to deal with the heartbreak of the hell you at home. That's a flight person. Flight people, like all these, are unconscious, dysfunctional, just as dysfunctional as the people they're in a relationship with, and can't figure out why. Flight people eventually get tired. They get tired, and then they have to change their lives. And then the next one are fixers. So we did everything. Yep, we're on number 5. Fix people. People who think they can fix crazy. So fixers are those who are in relationship with dysfunctional people and they think they're going to fix it. So they're a little bit different from fawners, because fawners also think that they can fix it. Fawners are also people who think that they can fix somebody's dysfunctional behavior by being close or being more complicit to their will. Fixers think that they can manage a dysfunctional person's behavior. So that's like having a partner who drinks too much and you're going to fix it. You're going to stay right there and say, baby, don't you think that's your last one? Okay, we're just going to sit on that for a minute. Fixers are people who, when they have a partner who might gamble too much or do something like that, they try to hide the money. They're just going to fix it. Or I'm going to keep sending you more information about going to AA. I'm going to just keep trying to fix it. And they look like they're very helpful people. They can look real nice. Oh, yeah, she's so sweet. He's so nice. He's really trying to help her. But they are equally as dysfunctional because they are often trying to control the situation through fixing it. Baby, they'll hide your alcohol. They'll be counting your drinks. They'll be hiding your money. They dysfunctional too. All that stuff is dishonest. It's manipulative. It's controlling. Character flaws. You know, if you don't want to be with somebody who drink like that, then get yourself the hell up out the house. Period. Easier. Then I don't have to count. Then we all have to be uncomfortable. Then I don't have to feel like your mama. I'm just not here for that. So anyway, get clear on what your trauma response is. Your trauma response is usually learned in childhood. It is the way that you kept yourself safe. If you did not develop your trauma response in childhood, you probably developed it in a traumatic situation. whether it was something that happened when you were a teenager or something that happened in college. Most of us revert back to our trauma response when triggered, mostly with any type of trigger. Whatever that trigger is, it might send us right into flight, or it might send us right into fawning. Why are you going to talk to me like that? What's really going on with you? Are you upset? Are you tired? Because you were just real disrespectful to me, so I'm going to figure out what you need. Or it might send us right into freezing. You were just real disrespectful to me, so look, you know what? I'm just going to sit over here. I'm going to eat my steak. I'm going to have a good day. I don't care what they say or do. Or you're going to go right into flight. Flight people are like, okay, I'm leaving now. Okay, I got to go. Okay, they get up, right? But see, the thing about it is that might not be what they actually want. That's just all they know how to do. Fight people. Oh, you say something crazy to me? Oh, let's go. Oh, you thought you was going to have a good day. You crazy too, girl. Anyway, get clear on your trauma response. Know when you're triggered. Know what your natural response is. Take a breath. Is that what you actually want to do? Sometimes the appropriate response is to leave. Sometimes the appropriate response is not to say anything. But that might not always be the appropriate response. And when you're clear on what your trauma response is, you are able to make a conscious choice in each situation about how you want to represent yourself, what you think is the best decision, what you think is self-loving and self-honoring, and what you also think is loving and honoring towards other people, because that is what we are here to be, loved. That is who we are, love and light. So I encourage you all to continue to be bold, be honest, be healed, be happy. I'm so happy today. I'm about to go walk this dog. I'm dog sitting for my friend. I'm so happy. Be happy, be whole, and most importantly, be well.
Be light. Be free. Be noticed. Be peaceful. Be authentic. Be super. Be well.